Day 1 of Ranked is here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 decks that I think you might want to be using if you're trying to climb the Masters this season in Ranked. Hey guys, Zen here. Sorry for the no cam and a little bit of a different audio situation. Hopefully it's not too jarring for you guys. Let's start with today's first deck that I'm going to showcase, which is actually a video I uploaded yesterday that revolves around Silvally and Rampardos. This thing is so freaking strong, and you're going to see a ton of it. In fact, I've been playing all morning, and I think 80% of my opponents, including myself in my matches today, I played a bunch of these decks today, were running the Silvally Rampardos build. It is so strong. Essentially, you're guaranteed to start with type null, and this card is a basic with 80 HP and can deal up to 40 damage if you flip heads. Not too bad. However, once you evolve for 2 energy, you can deal up to 100 if you've used a supporter on the same turn. Now, if you look at the supporter cards in this deck, they are all supporter cards that you can use regardless of certain situations. So, for example, Cyrus, you could only Cyrus if your opponent has a one on their bench that has damage on it. We don't have any supporters that do that here. We have a Mars, a Gladion, Research, Iono, Red, Giovanni, even Leaf. You can use these whenever you want. You can even Leaf and not even retreat in order to get that boosted 50 damage, and that makes Silvally so much stronger. A lot of really cool techs that go into this deck. And then on the other end of this deck is you have your Skull Fossils and your 2 Rampardos with the 2 rare candies, because you don't have any EXs. You're not giving your opponent 2 prize points. You bring in Rampardos. After losing 1 Silvally, you knock him out for 130. You potentially even knock out another one, and then bring in your other type null to then go into a Silvally and just win the game. It's really strong. And if you haven't played this variation, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and it's pretty strong into the current meta as of right now. Now let's talk about one deck list that no one's really talking about, and that's going to be this Decidueye Pheromosa. Now, this is running the Decidueye EX, as well as the non-Decidueye that we just recently got, which I think is such a good card. In fact, I built a deck around this using Meowscarada, the non-EX Owl, pretty much no EX Pokemon. It was doing really well, but it's missing that damage output. So seeing this variation do very well in a tournament yesterday got my brain thinking like, yo, this is still a really good deck list and bird. With the new Pheromosa, you're guaranteed to dish out 20 damage to any of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That helps Decidueye EX pierce the pain for 100 for only 2 energy. Really strong card. On top of that, you have double lilies here for recovery for both Decidueyes. Now, let's say you don't have any damage on the board. Not to worry. This one, the non-EX variant, deals 70 to anything on the board. It is so freaking strong. You have 2 Leaf Capes, 2 Ericas for sustain, and every single pre-evolution in this line also snipes and deals damage to something on the board. Honestly, a huge fan of this deck. I've been playing it. I think I went 6-0 with this, and then I went on a unfortunate loss streak. I'll explain how that happens. You just brick. It happens with all these decks that I'm going to show you. However, the way they're built, you're more likely to succeed than not succeed, right? As long as you don't brick. Now let's move on to the third deck list in today's video, the big Guzzlord EX himself. Now this variation is interesting because it's also throwing in the Nagadil and the Pipluol, as well as Nihilego and Celesteela. Now, typically you would only see the Guzzlord, Nihilego, and Celesteela, but throwing in these other 2 really helps with the toxic synergy, the poison synergy. Essentially, what you want to be using is your Naganadel and your Nihilego to deal damage, all while building up your Guzzlord EX or even your Celesteela, so that way if either of those single prize point Pokemon go down, you could use your supporter card Luzamine to just ramp your Guzzlord EX and often close out games. The Repel here is a very nice addition because it helps you get around Oricorio. I found this out the hard way. I was building a deck. I went up against Oricorio. There was nothing I could do against Oricorio. However, they had other Pokemon on their bench that I could technically knock out easily with my Solgaleo EX that I was playing at the time. However, running 2 Repels while already having 1 prize point guarantees that I will win regardless of them having an Oricorio. As long as they don't have another Oricorio on bench, you Repel, you bounce them back, you hit something else, and you just win. Repel only works if your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic stage, so that's very important to note. You also have the Poison Barb synergy here, so that way you throw it on the Nihilego, and if they attack you, they get poison, and then they get extra toxic tick damage. This stacks, so if you have double Nihilijos on your bench, I believe, what is that? That's minus 30, minus 60 by the time it's your turn again. It's actually, like I said, super toxic. Give this one a try if you have all the cards for it. If you're missing some of them, it's going to be kind of rough. I really do like the addition of these two. However, if you are missing these two, you might still be able to run a variation of this deck list. Now let's talk about the lightning type deck list that I myself have not had any luck, and I use the word luck specifically here because this is doing so well. I unfortunately am just not able to pilot this correctly, but every time I go up against it, I get slaughtered. The Zero Aura right here with the Thunderclap Flash being able to generate energy for itself is really strong. The Oricorio that says, hey EXs, you can't touch this, is insane. And then the Topu Koko that just pretty much put Pikachu EX from Genetic Apex to sleep, says, hey, I'm here and I'm here to thrive. With the Plasma Hurricane, deals 20, ramps itself so that way you can Mac Bolt for 90 the following turn. But that's not all. The card, the single card that has made lightning type decks a force to be reckoned with, is the Electrical Cord, where if you attach this to your Topu Koko, it deals damage, it knocks out your opponent, or even your Zero Aura, let's say. Your Zero Aura ramps, turn 1. Following turn, it gets another energy, it can deal 50, you give it the Electrical Cord. If it goes down, the following turn, you can take 2 energy from this and give it to your benched Pokemon. It could be 1 to Oricorio, 1 to Pikachu EX, or even 1 to Topu Koko EX, right? You could only choose 2 benched Pokemon and give them each 1 lightning energy. Now, the cool synergy behind this is if you do that, and let's say you give it to Koko and EX here, Pikachu EX, well then let's say you go into Pikachu EX, you give it an energy from the energy zone, now it has 2, and then you use something like Dawn from that synergy, that combo of Electrical Cord, when you take this energy from Koko into the Pikachu EX, and now you're dishing out 150, potentially even closing out games. Very strong synergy and combos here. You have a cape to boost some of your very low HP Pokemon, because that's kind of the downfall of this deck, is the highest HP you have is 130, the maximum damage you have is 150 or consistently 90, to be honest, maybe 100 with the Giovanni, but yeah, that's pretty much it. You're gonna have to play around EXs with Oricorio, and you're gonna have to really manage your energy resources and bouncing them back and forth with this deck, but it's a lot of fun. Even though, again, like, I didn't successfully pilot this, I feel like I got pretty unlucky, but I was still having a blast playing through the combos and doing my best in trying to get certain actions to pop off. Also, again, the repel here, this card itself is so good. And then the Guzma. The Guzma is key, especially because of the next deck we're going to talk about. And I think this is the #1 best deck of the format. I have gone 14 wins. This is my highest win streak ever this morning with this deck, or at least a variation of the deck that I'm going to show you next, and that is Buzzwole EX Pheromosa and Celesteela. This thing is so unbelievably stupid, you guys. First of all, the Leaf Cape. I'll just give you some tips and pointers while we talk about this deck list, because I feel very comfortable with this. Again, 14 wins in a row with this. Never double Leaf Capes, only 1 at a time. If they Guzma you have another one in the back end. I was running the Beast type, but then I opted to remove it. Red, because red is really good with your Buzzwole EX 120. If they have another counter Buzzwole, well, you can do something like a repel to their Celesteela. If there's only 2 Pokemon, they switch out to the other one. Their Buzzwole comes in at 140. Let's pretend you haven't been using Pheromosa correctly. Let's just say you started with Buzzwole. Well, then the red comes in handy with Big Beat. You knock it out, you win. But oftentimes, what you're gonna want to do in a perfect match, you lead Pheromosa, you bench these 2. Celesteela, Buzzwole, your Pheromosa, if you can just chip damage their opposing Buzzwole, because a lot of people are playing this deck, it's at 120, and now you have Buzzwole a chance to just knock it out with Cyrus once you get this guy online. Let's say that doesn't happen. Let's just say you're playing something other than Buzzwole. Well, the matchup is gonna look like this. You run double Buzzwoles and double Celesteelas on the bench, or not even. You could just run 1 of each, right? But if you have 2 Celesteelas, what you can do is you can attack with Big Beat, 120. The following turn, you can Celesteela the first one, Ultra Thrusters, swap the Buzzwole out, and then the second Celesteela, swap it back in to attack for free. It's insane, right? Or another variation, which I really like with this Pheromosa, let's say you don't have the double Celesteela, not to worry. Buzzwole attacks, big beat, 120, can't attack the following turn. Well, you use Ultra Thrusters, you swap in the Pheromosa, Buzzwole goes to the bench, it already has 3 energy. You take an energy from your energy zone, give it to Pheromosa, retreat, because this ability doesn't count as a retreat, which means you can use this ability, swap them, and then use your single retreat per turn to go back into the Buzzwole and attack for 120. This is also really good because it discards energy, so that way if your Buzzwole goes down and you have another Buzzwole, your Louisamine can pop off. Again, this is how I've been playing it. It's been very successful, catching a lot of people off guard. The red card, must. I know, you know what, actually I feel like red card is getting so much better. I used to say it was bad, but honestly I feel like it might be a must, especially going into decks that are using rare candies. Now I guess Ultra Beast decks aren't really using that many rare candies, but still I find being able to red card my opponent who's stockpiling potential cards only win if they have a card. This is how I use red card real quick. I've talked about this previously. The best way to use red card is if the next following turn, your opponent, if they have this X card in their hand, they win the game, and they played in a way that might indicate that they have that card, like they attached an energy to something on their bench, because if they have that X card in their hand, doesn't matter what you do, they win the next turn. That's the turn that you red card. It's a 50-50 to your advantage, right? If they get that same card back, it is what it is. But that's probably how I've been using my red card, more or less. But yeah, there you guys have it. Those are the top 5 decks. We have the Buzzwole deck, we have the Topu Koko deck, the Guzzlord deck, the Silvally Rampardos deck. This is the one that's the most fun. If you're going to take anything from today, this is the most fun. You're going to grind with this. Like, this is a grind deck, right? And then this Decidueye EX full-on Pheromosa. This is like a high-tech, secret tech kind of deck. This one, just you want to be toxic to your opponents. This one is if you're luckier than me and better than me, you play this. And this is if you just want to stomp on everybody. But there you guys have it. Just wanted to share the top 5 decks that I've been seeing all morning and that I think you should be looking at too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is probably gonna be the last video that I upload with this quality, and I'll see you guys tomorrow when I'm back home live streaming. Later.